A few months ago, I moved into a small house at the edge of town. It was perfect, affordable, quiet, and filled with old-world charm. The realtor mentioned that it had been vacant for a few years, but I didn't think much of it at the time. It had everything I needed. But there was something strange about the back door. No matter how many times I locked it, I would wake up to find it open. At first, I thought I was just being forgetful. Maybe I hadn't turned the key all the way, or perhaps the lock was faulty. I even replaced the lock, but nothing changed. Every morning, without fail, the door would be slightly ajar, letting in a cold breeze that sent a shiver down my spine. One night, I decided to put an end to the mystery. I set up a security camera facing the door, determined to catch whatever, or whoever, was causing this. I locked the door, tested the handle, and placed a chair against it for extra security. Then I went to bed, anxious but hopeful that I'd find a rational explanation in the morning. I woke up suddenly at 3 a.m., feeling an inexplicable dread settle over me. My heart pounded as I reached for my phone to check the footage. What I saw made my stomach twist into knots. At 3:02 a.m., the handle of the back door began to shake violently, as though someone was trying to force their way inside. But there was no one there. The lock clicked open on its own, and the door slowly creaked open. For several minutes, nothing moved. The doorway remained dark and empty. But then, just for a second, I saw it. Something shifted in the darkness. A faint outline of a figure standing in the doorway. It wasn't a trick of the light. Someone, or something, had stepped inside. I rewound the footage, watching again and again, hoping I had imagined it. But no matter how many times I replayed the video, the figure was there, just barely visible. And then I noticed something worse. The door had never closed completely. For the rest of the night, I sat in bed, gripping my phone, afraid to move. When dawn finally arrived, I forced myself to inspect the back door. It was closed now, but the air near it was ice cold. Something was terribly wrong with this house. The next day, I decided to dig into its history. What I found disturbed me. Years ago, the house belonged to a man named Arthur Caldwell. He was a recluse, rarely seen outside. The townspeople whispered about him. They claimed he was involved in strange rituals, that he spoke to things no one else could see. Then, one day, he vanished. The authorities searched the house, but there was no sign of Caldwell. The only clue was the back door, which was found wide open. That night, I couldn't sleep. The house felt different, heavier, like it was holding something inside. I started hearing things, low murmurs in the middle of the night, the creak of footsteps on the wooden floor when I was the only one home. And the damn door was open again. I began having nightmares. In them, I stood in front of the back door, frozen in fear as the handle turned on its own. The door would swing open, revealing a figure, tall, gaunt, with hollow eyes staring into mine. Its mouth would move, but no sound came out. And then I would wake up, drenched in sweat, my heart pounding. One night, I woke to the sound of my name being whispered. It was coming from the back door. I didn't move. I couldn't. The whisper came again, closer this time, and the door handle turned. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, aiming at the door. It was wide open. The air smelled of damp earth and something rotten. I slammed it shut, locked it, and pushed a heavy dresser in front of it. But the next morning, it was open again. I started seeing movement out of the corner of my eye, shadows shifting in the dimly lit corners of the house. Then, one night, I finally saw it. I was sitting in the living room, trying to keep myself awake, when I noticed something in the reflection of the TV screen. Behind me, near the back door, stood a figure. It was impossibly tall, its limbs too long, its head tilted unnaturally. Though its face was obscured, I knew it was watching me. Slowly, it began to move. I turned around, but there was nothing there, just the open door.